Okay. Thanks for Lori and Dave for inviting me, and Lou for being Lou, and all my friends I see here, thanks for coming. You know, yesterday I invited my neighbor to this reading, and I showed him my book, and he congratulated me for my hobby. And he asked me, do you know any of the real poets of Pittsburgh? So, I hope to meet them someday. These are very short poems. I am feeding back a little. These are very short poems, so don't applaud after each one because it's going to be like every 5 seconds. Afterwards, you can give me a 21-gun salute and then buy 10 copies of my book. Anyway, I wrote about a lot in this book. So I'll start off with some work poems. This poem is the first one in the book. It's what I have learned after working 20 years in a hospital, and I do thank Mel for getting me that job. I've saved so many lives thanks to you, Mel. I was giving guitar lessons before that job. Now I'm saving lives. All right, this first poem is The Secret of Life. The secret of life is simple and two pronged. 1, you gotta be lucky. 2, appreciate things when they're good, because they won't be good forever. Don't sweat the small stuff. The big stuff's coming. All right. And to continue the work theme, a COVID tale. A COVID patient arrests, unvaccinated, hovering between here and gone, leaning towards death. Her daughter comes in the room as we're scrambling to keep her heart beating and her oxygen saturation viable. I know you guys are thinking she's going to die. We need her alive. We need you to believe that she's going to live. A sad rush of emotion. A vaccine might have been more effective than my happy thoughts, but that's how it works on my planet. On her planet, who knows? Okay, to continue the work theme. Bedside. All the young fellas shot, languishing in the hospital, with families bedside, grieving and dealing with it. A young woman bedside gets off the phone. They just called me. They're waiting for him to get out so they can finish him off. A mother bedside. That boy that just left, that's the one who shot him. A family bedside as I perform therapy. Mom says, you think we're trash, don't you? The hot nurse. The small blonde nurse and I were breaking our backs transporting the giant patient in the crappy bed to a CAT scan. I'm hot, she said, as we slogged through the hospital. You are kind of hot, I said. You don't really need to mention it. We laughed, and she said, well, I'm just putting it out there. 4:45. I could give him 10 breathing treatments. He's still 84 years old. Struggling to breathe at 4:45 in the morning. I could give him 20 treatments. He still has CHF, jamming the right chamber of his heart, flooding his lungs. He's not drowning in it, not yet, but every breath is a squat thrust. I sit with him at 4:45 in the morning, administering useless medicine, watching ice truckers shooting the shit. It's not Lasix, which is what he needs to flush the fluid, but I'm good company and so is he. Yeah. And that will have to be therapy enough at 4:45 in the morning. Okay, let's talk about bicycles. Hot pursuit. I was getting chased by cops on my bike, if you can believe it. I was in the bus lane. That's why they were chasing me. I scrambled into Oakland with all the big buildings, made a turn, and hopped off my bike, leaning up against one of the buildings. The cops made the turn in hot pursuit, speeding right past me. I said, "Hey, the cops are chasing somebody. Look at that. Then I got a beer." Bicycle. And I can attest to this from last week. Bicycle. Sorry, but you gotta crash every once in a while, or you're not really riding. Let's talk about race. Looney Tunes. On a hot Tuesday afternoon in July, I'm stopped at a light deep in the hood. Windows open, blasting cartoon music. Neighborhood homies, 3 feet deep in the corner, on the corner, and I'm on an island of honky in my car. For 30 seconds, everyone's listening to Looney Tunes' greatest hits, confirming their deepest, horrified suspicions. This is what white people listen to when we're alone. The Chamber. Rick owned the Monkey Bar. Not the one in New York, but his own knockoff in Cleveland. And Rick wasn't a big fan of African Americans, he knew, but he was really no fan of strange African Americans in the bar. However, the pandemic arrived, the white people stopped coming, and the black people kept coming. And Rick sat on a corner stool making money overseeing a black bistro called the Monkey Bar. It was like Hitler opening a bar for the Jews and calling it the Chamber.
Yeah, you gotta go to ground.
White Devil. Playing my harpsichord in Pittsburgh's Market Square, an audience of homeless, druggies, children of druggies, scurrying working stiffs, and 3 tourists. A black man at the far corner of the square scampers straight for me, screeching, "White Devil! White Devil! White Devil!" He's in front of me, leaning on the harpsichord. "White Devil!" Then he drops $2 in my upside down bongo, turns around, growls, "White Devil!" and turns out to the street. Which brings us to music. Showbiz. I lived with Laurie Anderson's keyboard player back when you heard of Laurie Anderson. I think the woman's name was Lucky. Just roommates, no romance. That year in New York, we were all musicians, but Lucky was a star in her own right. At my level, you don't have to audition, she said. "Oh yeah," I said. "At my level, I don't give a fuck." We weren't the hanging out kind of romance. Recipe. An arrogant conductor hires me for a show. It's a cultural exchange, as we're from different tribes. He gives me guitar music, a D chord with 4 staves. I ask him how he wants it played. "As it's written." But the 4 bare slashes tell me nothing. It's like working in a restaurant and getting an order for chicken. "How do you want this chicken?" "Follow the recipe." And the recipe is a picture of a chicken. So I cook it the way I like it, basted with Latin flavor. Oh, he's pissed after the show, but the audience eats it up. Now, how about politics? Strategy. When the original immigrants came to America, the Spanish, British, and other boat people, they slaughtered the natives and plundered their land for a better life. We're lucky the current influx doesn't choose the same strategy. There may be some bad hombres, but they're not that bad. 15 triage. Walking through 15 triage giving breathing treatments. The day after ICE killed Renee Good in Minneapolis. All the patients had the story on their television. The same videos playing in each room. But some TVs were tuned to Fox News. You're looking at a domestic terrorist, a berserk radical trying to mow down an agent doing his job, which is to protect this country. He's shot in self-defense. Some tuned to CNN and NBC. She was new to Minneapolis, and that morning she'd come to protect her new community from an invading army. When they came for her, grabbing her through the open window, she tried to get away and they started shooting. In seconds, this mother of three was dead. Same video on repeat in each room. Wildly divergent narratives surrounding it. I continued my treatments, strolling down the hall of Metaphor America. And by the way, she was clearly murdered by the stormtrooper coward. And that's why, for years I've been wondering, why are Americans so alienated? Why are we so unhappy? And now I see it, because this country promises, very convincingly, a whole lot more than it can deliver. And my last political one, Pledge of Allegiance. You're born onto a piece of land, call it America. Born into a religion, call it Christianity. Must you be loyal to and insist upon the virtue of every accident you're born into? I was hatched on a certain day of the week. Do I have to pledge allegiance to Tuesday and plot the destruction of Thursday? And just a couple more. Staycation. I was on a staycation. I told my son, I felt like blackjack. He said, I'll give you some tips. I told him, I know how to play blackjack. No, you don't, he said. Correctly, as it turned out. He took me to the casino for a blackjack lesson. I won a day's salary before I finished my Yingling. We got the good cigars. I raised that kid wrong. Highway. I could have been this, but I'm not. I could have done that, but I didn't. Tantalizing, torturous thoughts and complete baloney. You can only be what you are. You can only do what you did. All detours and dead ends are built into that highway you ride. Fashion. What? Cocaine's yesterday's hat? I'll wear it. Problem. Your bad habit is a problem, only if it's a problem. Spin. The world spins around, and the old folks fall off. And the last one is for my beautiful bride. We had no plan. It's called a plan. We had no plan. We had no plan to have a plan. We played in a band, typing and waitressing for rent and beer. And now look, real jobs, home, some money in the bank, kids, cats, home gym, basement music bar. We still have the band. Thanks.